The 20 biggest wrecks ever, authentic turn of events. The historical backdrop of route is brimming with stunning wrecks that have made a permanent imprint on the existences of the individuals who experienced them, as well as on our social legacy. Beneath we look at exhaustively the 20 biggest wrecks ever, as per their verifiable importance, their human expense, and their effect on society and route innovation. Top 10 wrecks. 1. Titanic, 1912. The RMS Titanic is maybe the most well-known wreck ever. The White Star Line sea liner was portrayed as the resilient boat, but the awfulness of April 14, 1912 invalidated this case. While going from Southampton, Britain to New York, she slammed into a chunk of ice in the North Atlantic. Of the 2,224 individuals ready, more than 1,500 kicked the bucket. The Titanic's set of experiences uncovered lacks in life-saving gear and crisis strategies, prompting significant changes in oceanic regulation. In 1913, the Security of Life Adrift show, SOLAS, was embraced, setting guidelines for life-saving apparatuses, radios and emergency the board. The revelation of the wreck in 1985 by Robert Ballard added new aspects to how we might interpret the misfortune and produced colossal interest in submerged investigation. 2. Lusitania, 1915. The RMS Lusitania was an English sea liner sunk by a German submarine on May 7, 1915 during the Second Great War. The boat was persisting 1,900 travelers and team, and the 1,198 passings caused overall shock. This occasion helped change general assessment in the U.S. for cooperation in the conflict, and was a defining moment in unified maritime techniques. Lusitania was going at high velocity close to the shoreline of Ireland when she was destroyed by the German submarine U-20. The boat's quick sinking was most likely because of the vehicle of ammo, which started warmed banters about liability regarding the occurrence. Today, the disaster area is a safeguarded landmark and keeps on being a wellspring of verifiable exploration. 3. Andrea Doria, 1956. The Italian traveler transport Andrea Doria sank on July 25, 1956 after a crash with the Swedish boat Stockholm. Albeit just 46 individuals passed on, the disaster area stays popular on account of the advantage of the boat and the emotional salvage that occurred. The Andrea Doria is viewed as one of the most noteworthy boats of Now is the Right Time, known for its plan and enhancement. Notwithstanding, the impact was credited to mistakes in route and unfortunate correspondence between the boats. Jumping the disaster area today offers a one-of-a-kind encounter for jumpers, despite the fact that it is viewed as one of the most perilous plunge locales because of its flimsiness. 4. Esmeralda, 1503. The Esmeralda, a boat of Vasco da Gama's armada, sank close to Oman in the 1600 years. The disaster area, found in 2016, offers significant data about the period of extraordinary investigation, including weapons, coins and nautical apparatuses of the time. The boat had a place with Portuguese pioneer Vicente Sador and is viewed as the most established wreck related with the period of investigation. The ancient rarities recuperated from the disaster area give significant data on Portuguese exchanging and nautical practices, while the revelation of the interesting astrolabe has given new experiences into early route. 5. Sovereign Antarctica, 1718. The boat of the well-known privateer Blackbeard, Edward Educate, was soaked in North Carolina. Unearthings of the disaster area uncovered various relics, giving a more profound investigate the life and exercises of 18th century privateers. The Sovereign Antique was a previous French vendor transport, which was caught and changed over into a privateer transport. The disaster area was found in 1996 and incorporates cannons, anchors and belongings of the team. The investigation of the disaster area has given new data about privateer movement off the shore of America and the innovation of boats of that period. 6. USS Arizona, 1941. The sinking of the USS Arizona during the Japanese assault on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, caused the passings of 1,177 individuals. The boat stays an undersea remembrance, representing the penance and obliteration of war. The sinking of the Arizona sincerely affected the U.S. and was the impetus for its entrance into the Second Great War. Today, The disaster area is safeguarded as a component of the Pearl Harbor commemoration and is visited by a huge number of individuals every year, helping them to remember the penances expected by war. 7. Bismarck. 1941. The German ship Bismarck was soaked in the Atlantic Sea during the Second Great War. After extreme pursuit by English warships, its sinking denoted an essential triumph for the partners. Bismarck was one of the most exceptional warships of her time, yet her sinking showed the restrictions of German maritime technique. The revelation of the disaster area by Robert Ballard in 1989 uncovered significant insights concerning the innovation and conditions of the sinking. 8. HMS Hood, 1941. The English cruiser HMS Hood was obliterated by Bismarck during a brief yet destructive maritime fight. With 1,415 passings, the occasion was a public misfortune for England. The Hood was the biggest warship in the Imperial Naval Force and represented the force of the English realm. Its sinking prompted a deep craving for retribution, finishing in the pursuit and obliteration of the Bismarck a couple of days after the fact. 9. Yamato, 1945. Yamato, the biggest war vessel at any point assembled, was sunk by American powers in the Pacific during the Second Great War. Its sinking represents the decay of Japanese maritime power. The Yamato was furnished with tremendous weapons and was viewed as relentless. Notwithstanding, absence of air support and united air strength prompted its obliteration. 10. Pilgrim Ernest Shackleton's boat, Perseverance, became caught in the Antarctic ice and was in the long run soaked in 1915. The team's endurance, which endured a long time in outrageous circumstances, is one of the most legendary investigation stories. The disaster area was found in 2022 and is in astounding condition because of the low temperatures and absence of microorganisms. Its revelation was an achievement for submerged paleontology and has supported interest in the period of investigation. 11. Costa Concordia, 2012. The Costa Concordia misfortune occurred on January 13, 2012, when the Extravagance Journey transport struck a reef close to the island of Giglio in Italy. The occurrence was because of human blunder, as the skipper picked a dangerous course. Of the 4,229 individuals ready, 32 kicked the bucket. The sinking of the Costa Concordia was the subject of a global examination concerning oceanic security. The disaster area evacuation activity, finished in 2014, was quite possibly of the best specialized challenge throughout the entire existence of shipbuilding. 12. MV Doña Paz, 1987. The MV Doña Paz, a traveler transport in the Philippines, crashed into the big huller Mount Vector on December 20, 1987, causing the passings of nearly 4,386 individuals. The crash, which caused a fire and blast, is viewed as the most terrible quiet oceanic misfortune of the 20th 100 years. The examination uncovered serious breaks of guidelines, including an over-the-top number of travelers and lacking well-being hardware. The wreck was a defining moment in the fixing of transport well-being rules in the Philippines. 13. HMS Triumph, 1744. HMS Triumph, an English warship, was soaked in a tempest in the Dover waterways in 1744. The disaster area of the Triumph was found in 2008 by Odyssey Marine Investigation, uncovering significant relics like gold coins and weapons. The boat, which was an ancestor to Chief of Naval Operations Nelson's renowned Triumph, represents England's maritime could in the 18th 100 years. The wreck gave important data on the historical backdrop of maritime innovation, as well as the financial and military exercises of the time. 14. SS Sultana, 1865. The steamship SS Sultana sank in the Mississippi waterway on April 27, 1865, causing the passings of roughly 1,800 individuals. The boat was conveying for the most part freed detainees of battle from the American nationwide conflict who were venturing out to their countries. The blast of the boat's evaporator, which prompted its sinking, was ascribed to unfortunate upkeep and overburdening. The occurrence is viewed as the most awful oceanic misfortune in inland waters throughout the entire existence of the U.S. and has featured the requirement for stricter well-being guidelines. 15. MV Wilhelm Gustloff, 1945. The German boat Wilhelm Gustloff was obliterated by the Soviet submarine S-13 on January 30, 1945 in the Baltic Ocean. The boat was conveying for the most part German outcasts escaping the development of the Red Armed Force. It is assessed that more than 9,000 individuals died, making it the biggest wreck in history regarding death toll. The disaster area of the Wilhelm Gustloff is a terrible landmark to human misfortune during the Second Great War. Its story features the urgency and difficulties looked by outcasts during the conflict. 16. MS Estonia, 1994. MS Estonia, a Finnish-Estonian ship, sank in the Baltic Ocean on September 28, 1994, causing the passings of 852 individuals. The boat was going from Tallinn to Stockholm when it experienced extreme ocean disturbance and its bow imploded, permitting water to enter. The Estonia misfortune provoked broad examinations and changes to ship guidelines. The disaster area stays a submerged grave and is the subject of debate over the specific reason for the mishap. 17. RMS Sovereign of Ireland, 1914. RMS Sovereign of Ireland sank in the St. Lawrence waterway in Canada on May 29, 1914, after a crash with the Norwegian boat Storstad. The misfortune killed 1,012 individuals, making it one of the best peacetime oceanic misfortunes. The crash was because of terrible atmospheric conditions and correspondence issues between the two boats. The disaster area of the Sovereign of Ireland stays less notable than the Titanic, yet similarly significant throughout the entire existence of sea calamities. 18. Texing, 1822. The Chinese dealer transport Texing sank in the South China Ocean in 1822, causing the passings of north of 1,600 individuals. The boat, known as the Titanic of the East, was conveying merchandise as well as travelers looking for another life in Southeast Asia. The disclosure of the disaster area in 1999 uncovered an immense assortment of porcelain and different resources. Texing offers an exceptional understanding into the exchange and relocation streams of Asia in the 19th 100 years. 19. Goya, 1945. The Goya, a Norwegian dealer transport utilized by the Germans during the Second Great War, was sunk by Soviet torpedo planes on April 16, 1945 in the Baltic Ocean. In excess of 6,000 evacuees and fighters died in the sinking. The sinking of the Goya addresses the revulsions of war and the give up all hope of the last days of the Third Reich. The boat is involved today as an image of the misfortunes of the exiles. 20. Britannic, 1916. HMHS Britannic, sister boat of the Titanic, was soaked in the Aegean Ocean on November 21, 1916, during World War I. The boat was working as an emergency clinic transport when it struck a mine close to the island of Kea. Albeit the disaster area caused the demise of 30 individuals out of the 1,066 ready, a large portion of them figured out how to endure thanks to somewhere safe and secure upgrades made after the Titanic misfortune. The revelation of the disaster area by Jacques Cousteau in 1975 gave new bits of knowledge into the design and history of the boat. Today, the Britannic remaining parts quite possibly of the most very much protected wreck on the planet and draws in light of a legitimate concern for jumpers and scientists.